Every day, there's a battle for your mind raging. Information coming from every angle with the will to deceive. Fear not. You found the place for truth. The voice of a generation that still has the will to believe in the greatest country in the history of the world. This is the Charlie Kirk Show. Buckle up. Here we go.
Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly, and I am honored to be sitting in Charlie Kirk's studio hosting the Charlie Kirk Show. We're simulcasting it out right now for our listeners on the Megyn Kelly Show, and we're also honored to be a part of this. We traveled out to Arizona last night, and just stepping foot in the state, I mean, you can't go more than 100 feet without seeing something to honor Charlie, especially here at the headquarters of Turning Point, where you pull up and it is like something, the only thing I can compare it to it is after Princess Diana died, where you see the teddy bears and the balloons and the signage lining just the entire campus outside of this building. I mean, there's an incredible outpouring around the world for him. And I'm so honored to be sitting here in the studio. I'm here right now with Andrew Kolvet. He's Charlie's executive producer. Andrew, thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you for making the journey and the trip. I know it's no small task, and you honor Charlie. Charlie would be so honored, and you were one of his dearest friends in this whole crazy media and conservative space, and he would absolutely... I started making calls probably within 36 hours, and I knew exactly who to call, and you were absolutely one of those people, and so thank you for making this work.
Thank you. I feel like the one thing I can say about me and Charlie is, I think you once described it as the weird chemistry he and I had together on the air, because I absolutely loved talking to him. I can't think of somebody I wanted to talk to more ever. When I saw it was a Charlie Kirk day on the show, I knew it was going to be a great program. I knew he was going to bring something different than what we would hear from everybody else. And one of the things that I knew I'd get from Charlie was humor.
Yes.
Always made me laugh.
That's an underappreciated quality of Charlie, and I don't want to give away where we're going with the show. If you want to, that's fine. You're driving today. But the people closest to him, the people in this building, they all have many stories about how Charlie just made them, keel over laughing just because he was really funny. He had a very dry sense of humor, and it was very Charlie. I don't know how you could really describe it. They're going to have to tell you themselves. But yeah, and that came through in interviews with you. It didn't come through with everybody. But with you, you guys had this rapport, and I remember always texting back and forth with your team because you're on the air with them and he's on the air with you, and we'd be like, oh, this is great. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I remember you going on Sean Ryan's show and he was like, who should I interview? And a lot of people sent me this clip. I don't know if I ever told you that, but I saw it and you were like, you should have Charlie Kirk on. It never happened, and that's fine. I met Sean a couple times and we were always kind of talking about maybe whatever. But the fact that you were...
I just knew, because I felt like for the first couple of years that Charlie and I were talking, by no means was it that Charlie was undiscovered. He'd been discovered, and he had already built this massive organization. But in more traditional Republican circles, he wasn't as well known, and in some circles, not as well understood.
Yeah. The establishment circles.
They thought he was fringy. And I would tell all my friends in that lane, no, you got to listen to him. Yeah. He's hugely important to the future of the Republican Party and the country. And they would listen. More and more he was gaining friends, even among that wing, of course. But, in the beginning, people feel threatened by somebody who's coming up in their lane. They don't want to lose their positions. Is he going to take over the Republican Party? And then Charlie, just by sheer force of will and personality and goodness, won them over. It was to know him truly was to love him.
And you're going to see that. I think very rarely, people that work with a very demanding, hard driving person, which Charlie was, there's no doubt. Very rarely do you couple that with the more time you spend with him, the more you love him. And everybody in this building and Turning Point staff will have the same exact reaction. He was endearing in the most amazing way. And I had told so many people this, actually. I'm really proud that I got to before he died, that you just can't help but love the guy because the mission, his belief, his faith, And he was generous to a fault. He was loyal to a fault, and he was trustworthy. And he would never, ever spill the beans. He wouldn't gossip.
I never heard him say a negative word about anybody.
No.
Even on the air, he'd come on, we'd be talking about who's in the news. And half our friends are always in the news because they say controversial things, what have you. And so you always got to, treat it gingerly when you're going to talk about something like that. But Charlie would always say, I'm just never going to say anything bad about that person. He would own it, I don't care whether they're in the news or not. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, even if he disagreed with them privately, a lot of our friends would say things that would, cause a big stir, and there was pressure. You got to condemn this. You got to call this person out. You got to do this. And Charlie was like, no,
he never did. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I'm now trying to live by that example. I'm not going to lose my generally cynical mofo nature. That's technically not a swear. I just want that clear. We don't swear on the Charlie Kirk Show.
7 words, yeah.
I know. Poor Charlie. I would subject him to my potty mouth, and he was such a good sport about it. Yeah. But no, we are on his show now. We will be good. So I'm not going to lose that. But it gave me pause to think about not being too quick to condemn people who we like and who deserve the benefit of the doubt.
And in this moment, I know there's a lot of people online. We hear you that are saying different things, and they're processing their guilt in the way that
their grief,
their grief. Thank you, and their mourning in the way that they know how,
exactly.
And it's going to come out in 1,000 different ways, and we are trying to give everybody space to do that. Obviously, I personally, Andrew Kolvet, would do it one way, but other people are going to do it another way. And we really do have to honor Charlie in that way and say, Charlie was a master of collecting people. He was.
Yep.
And there is a reason for that.
I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I have always tried to not choose a side within Republican politics, to try to keep the door open to everybody. He made me look like an amateur at that, because there wasn't any, you look at America Fest, you look at the Student Action Summit, you look at any event that Charlie put on, you'd have everybody from all ideological wings of the party.
Yeah.
He managed to hold this coalition together in a way few can. I mean, few other than Donald Trump can.
No, for real. And I think, and I've said this before, but I just want everybody to keep hearing it, that Charlie looked at the virtues, the roles that one could play in society. And he was borrowing this from the Greeks and others, but being a statesman, being a philosopher, being a theologian are the highest callings. And he told me, some of the deepest conversations that we had before he died, saying, everybody can open a stream and say crazy things, but not everybody can be a statesman. Not everybody can be a coalition builder. It's really hard to build. And he was very proud that we had built something, that he had built something that is an institution that's going to outlive him, with friends that of all different parts of the party that love him and that admire him. And so I'm not kidding, we talked for hours about this on a few different occasions about why that was the highest calling. And I could tell he was working that out with me.
And not just working that out, but what I've learned just since Charlie died is working to be the person. I did not realize how much work Charlie put into these campus appearances and honing his game and making sure he was at the peak in terms of his ability to have these exchanges.
He disciplined his body to do it. He was a biohacker. He was religious about sleep. He didn't put poisons into his body.
Yep.
He really understood that he had to get the most out of himself, and he found time to do the most bizarre things.
On the biohack front?
He journaled. He read books. He listened to books on tapes. He found ways to maximize every single second.
I think one of the services you and Erica could, when everyone's feeling better, provide for his fans would be to put together a list of what Charlie read. I feel like everybody would want to see that. Just the best you can cobble it together. Just go to his bookcase, go to his, Kindle, whatever, because I think people would love to know what influenced him. He influenced them. What influenced him? We've got news to make. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll make it. Don't go away.